We are going to be looking at some creepy videos, strange and odd news stories, and as always, let's go ahead and get right into today's video. So this first news story is just downright scary.
We have some breaking news right now. Radar screens at Newark Airport went black again early this morning. It's the second outage at Newark in as many weeks, and it's raising some serious safety concerns. Let's bring in ABC News transportation producer Sam Sweeney on the phone with more. Sam, what's the latest?
Well, Diane, this happened earlier this morning around 3:55, which was the best time it could have possibly happened. You know, you never want this to happen, but when there are fewer planes in the air, of course, it is obviously better. But you can hear in the air traffic control audio the radar controller, who is based in Philadelphia, but controlling the airspace around Newark, that they had another blackout again, another radar outage again. And then they go on to a private jet, and they say, we just lost our radar. If you can contact us, stay at or above 3,000 feet on your approach into Teterboro. That plane was arriving from Cyprus. They then go on to tell the FedEx plane to contact their airline or FedEx as a company to put pressure on officials to get this problem fixed. This comes just days after, of course, that first outage back on April 28th. More than 1,100 flights have already been canceled because of that outage and the controllers who have been out on medical leave.
So, Sam, what does this mean for people who are scheduled to travel out of Newark over the next few days?
Look, there is going to be delays for days, possibly weeks out of Newark because they are short air traffic controllers and they're dealing with a runway construction project. Luckily, this morning's outage was brief. We reached out to the FAA to learn more information about how long this took place. They hadn't even known about the issue when we contacted them, so we're working to get more. But right now, things are back on. Radars are working, but there are still severe delays at Newark. On average, it's more than an hour delay right now for arriving and departing flights.
All right, Sam, thanks for staying on top of this for us. Our transportation producer, Sam Sweeney, thank you.
So yeah, this has been happening multiple times over a span of days at the Newark Airport in New Jersey, a very busy airport where air traffic control, their systems, they are going completely black, where they cannot see any other planes on radar. One would think that since this keeps happening at this one particular airport, they would cancel all flights from coming in and out because air traffic control, they are saying they cannot communicate to the pilots and they cannot tell how far the planes are from one another. About 3 days ago, news came from the Newark airport that air traffic control screens went dark for nearly 60 to 90 seconds, and every second is very crucial to this position. Reading this article from Eyewitness News, following the outage, several controllers went on medical leave, calling the experience a traumatic event. I mean, yeah, they're in control of people's lives. Some people may say that this is just a fake story to scare people from flying, and it might be. You never know. You never know in today's world, but as I said before, and I'm very adamant on this, I will not be in a PSYOP 40,000 feet in the air.
So, can somebody tell me what the heck is this? And I'm not using no app. I am on County Road 2 in between State Avenue and K32. And I have never seen anything like that in my life. And it appears that little black stuff is falling down the center of it. That is just weird. And then just to let you all know, I'm not kidding here. This is real. Sorry, that's my phone doing that because it's a piece of crap Motorola. But just so you can see, it's me. And I'm live. And it's starting to dissipate. Look at that. Tell me that is not freaking weird. I have no idea. I've been recording it. It was a dark black circle and now it's dissipating. I mean, it looks like somebody blew a big old smoke ring.
It looks like it's smoke. My first thought back in the distance was, is it a congregation of birds?
Yeah, that's what I thought. But then, because it looked like everything was falling through the center, but now it's just like totally dissipating, but I ain't never seen nothing like that in my life. I had to pull over and record it. So, hey, just so everybody knows, I'm legit. Somebody pulled over and talked to me. I'm not talking to myself.
Here's what I find interesting about these smoke rings. Every time they have appeared on the news, and they've appeared a lot, we're never given an exact reason or an exact cause behind their appearance. Yes, they can be produced by a blown transformer, they can be produced by a big rig blowing smoke, but on the other hand, we have always seen these black rings throughout Hollywood, and these black rings are always associated with an entity, aliens, and things like that. Whenever Hollywood shows us something in repetition, there's usually a truth in plain sight message behind it. Now, the smoke ring that this individual saw may have an easily explainable answer, but it's always food for thought. What if it's not?
We seriously need to talk about our weather and what is coming down in this rain. I recently shared with you blue rain out of California, which then multiple people started posting blue rain in other parts of the United States, specifically Texas. On May 6, 2025, this witness by the name of Kelly noticed that it was raining like normal. It's Texas weather. But what she found outside is what is causing a cause for alarm. She found this jelly-like substance all over the ground. She initially thought it was ice, and when she went to go touch it, inspect it, it's actually this jelly substance, and it's all over her yard and her home. What could have caused this? Like I said before, this has happened before, and a whole town up in Oregon got sick. Take a look at this footage and tell me what you think.
This video comes from the Paranormal Chick on TikTok. Now what this could be, I don't know, but between this and the blue rain, I still feel like there's a strong connection to cloud seeding and them spraying the skies. There was an interesting article that came out on May 5th from NBC DFW about how North Texas has been seeing higher than normal spring rain totals. The article goes on to say, if you felt like it's been raining a lot, you are right. April saw higher than normal rain totals, and May is starting wet as well. Official records are kept at DFW Airport, and April 2025 had 5.22 inches of rain, that is 2 inches more than normal. April typically picks up 3.22 inches of rain. The day last month with the most rain was April 30th, 2.40 inches of rain fell. This really reminds me of Dubai when the skies turned green and all that rain fell. More than likely what these people are seeing is the aftermath of what they're doing. This next video involving very bizarre shipping containers comes from SabBardom72 on TikTok.
Hey everyone, something really strange with these shipping containers is going on again. You've seen all the other videos we've been posting, and this is weird because they're popping up en masse now on both sides. As you can see, all these units, individually marked, said they're Mobile Mini, but they're being guarded at night. And I talked to the stores, none of them know why they're here. They don't belong to the stores, so what are they doing here in our town? And why are messages coming in saying that everyone is seeing this in their states too? What are they shipping?
There were people coming out and stories coming out of shipping containers landing in unusual places. And if you remember that story I covered about that shipping container in Jamaica having that chicken, and I just wonder if this has any connection to that. These random shipping containers being placed in certain locations, and this might be the pile of those shipping containers, ready to be spread out to other locations. In this next creepy video, in my last video, I had spoke about how in Scotland, people were hearing this very mysterious hum. Well, this very mysterious hum is also being heard in multiple locations, and they cannot figure out where this noise is coming from. For example, this hum is also being heard in the United States as well.
On Fox, we're learning more about a strange noise North St. Louis County residents say they are hearing.
This is a hum that Contact 2's Mike Colombo has heard a lot about. And as he reports tonight, many of you have thoughts on what that sound could be.
Listen very closely. The low rumble sounds like a generator running in the distance. It's now morning at the same home in the Castlereagh neighborhood of North St. Louis County. Beyond the birds chirping, you can hear the same hum in the background. The viewer who shared this video with us lives less than 3 miles northwest of Micah Mayfield's home on Old Jamestown Road.
So low that it's almost inaudible, but super consistent. So usually in the evenings after 8, you'd hear a very low humming noise that would come in kind of a wave pattern.
And I remember asking my husband, I say, babe, do you hear that noise? And he's like, what noise? And I say, listen.
St. Louis County Councilwoman Shalonda Webb can hear the hum from her North St. Louis County home. She's still got the county looking into it, and so are we.
Since I'm not sure what it is, it's hard to guess what they could do, but you know, if there's a way to you know, maybe keep that noise back from the residential areas, that would be great.
And it's just very interesting how all these different locations, they cannot account for this sound, which strongly makes me feel like this sound is coming from beneath the ground. It's coming from underground. And my mind frame goes to those boring drills.
Y'all, tell me why. I just came from Walmart. I just bought some deodorant, some things and shit I need. I come home. I set up the things I need to set up here. I'm watching a YouTube video. So it went on a commercial. The commercial of what I just bought came on. Mind you, I didn't say anything about what kind of deodorant I bought. I didn't use any kind of cards. I used cash. So how in the hell did this commercial know what I just went and bought? We are being watched. Because the things they need to be watching, they don't see. It don't make no sense. Millions of people go missing a year, kid.
What is even creepier is when you're thinking about getting something or you're talking to somebody about a certain item and that item appears on an ad either on your phone or on your computer. The way they are able to achieve this is through things like smart dust, nanotechnology. They have told us they are spraying these things in the air and we're breathing it in. I don't know if anybody has been seeing this in the news a lot lately. It's about these recent studies about how they're finding a lot of microplastics in the human brain. They are saying that these microplastics are coming from eating and drinking from plastics, but we have been eating and drinking from plastics for the longest time now. What if what they're finding are remnants from smart dust? Matter of fact, there are some people that are still seeing strange fog and strange particles in their location. This was tagged to me by NikkiGirl5858 on TikTok.
Guys, what is this? This is not normal. It is 3:30 in the morning. And I looked on my outside cam and I was like, what in the world? And there's a strange noise over here. This is straight up into the trees. Okay? That is like crazy. These are you can't even see my plants, my trees in front of me. Like a foot and a half. My lemon trees. See them barely? I don't know what this is. It looks like baby powder to the naked eye, and it looks like it's snowing straight down in between. I don't understand what I'm looking at. It's not fog. It's not pollen, guys. If it was, it wouldn't look like this. What is this? There's a weird noise out here. I'll be quiet. I don't know. Anybody else got this tonight spraying on them? My gosh, I wish y'all could see this with the naked eye. What the world is this? Mr. MVP333, how?
But they have always been experimenting and manipulating with the human mind. Here is Nita Farahany talking about just that, a former Barack Obama appointee at the World Economic Forum.
Are convicted in their belief. And so, to Jack's point about using some of the lie detection technology, particularly for eyewitnesses, not only can we put information in without blowing up your brain, we can put it in and then you can believe it so sincerely that the problem is you can testify to that effect. And in fact, we've seen this in a number of ways that police were doing lineups where the suggestibility of the information was so strong that people would later identify a person that they'd seen. For example, you show a picture lineup and only one person has on a jacket and nobody else does. And then when you go to the live lineup, because your brain triggered that there was something different about that person, you identify the person who you've just seen, but not realizing that it's because of some difference. And then you've seen them twice, and now you're asked to testify as an eyewitness, and you're so convicted about having seen that person commit the crime, even though that person's utterly innocent, that it becomes a planted memory. And so there's some really interesting research that we can plant false memories in the brain. And in a different context, one of the emerging areas that's really interesting in law neuroscience is pain detection. And once we understand the circuitries that cause pain, I guess the question is, could we then instill pain and use that in many coercive measures in the legal system as well? So.
Wow, that's amazing. Did you want to add?
We've seen, sounds more like they've done this before many times, and this doesn't really sound any different from MK Ultra Mind Control or Project Monarch.
Happens. So your thoughts will actually go to the cloud. There'll be AI there. It will be as if it's in your mind, but you'll be connecting to it through the cloud.
But yeah, I'm not sure about you guys, but my mom always told me to never trust a man who wears a toupee and bright yellow suspenders. I'm just joking. She never told me that. Shout out to my mother. I know you're watching. Now, even though she never told me this, it is still a wise principle to hold. For those who are wondering who this goofy looking guy is, his name is Ray Kurzweil. He is an American computer scientist, author, entrepreneur, futurist, and inventor. He is involved in fields such as optical character recognition, text-to-speech synthesis, speech recognition technology, and electronic keyboard instruments. He has written books on health technology, artificial intelligence, transhumanism, and the technological singularity. He is a public advocate for the futurist and transhumanist movement and gives public talks to share his optimistic outlook on life extension technologies and the future of nanotechnology, robotics, and biotechnology. In this interview clip, we have Ray talking about how everybody is going to merge with AI non-invasively by the 2030s using nanoscale sensors in the bloodstream that connect to the neocortex. For those who are wondering, this right here is the neocortex of your brain, which is right behind the forehead, which I'm going to come back to. Now, for those who are wondering, the neocortex is the outermost layer of the brain, and it is responsible for higher order brain functions like sensory perception, language, spatial reasoning, and cognition. Now, it also plays a crucial role in learning, memory, and programming goal-directed behaviors. Pretty much, the neocortex processes and interprets sensory information from the outside world, allowing us to see, hear, feel, taste, and smell. It's the part of the brain that we use to perceive reality. Now, according to Ray here, by the 2030s, they are going to use nanoscale sensors to attach to your neocortex, the part of your brain that helps you perceive reality, to then connect you to the cloud. Your thoughts will sync with cloud-based intelligence. Oh, how wonderful. As we can see from this article that came out last August, are we really going to merge our minds with computers? Within this article, we can see they talk about Kurzweil's basic idea rests upon the existence of the cloud. We can see that this cloud is disembodied from an ordinary user's perspective. It actually resides in various physical global data centers in this area of the internet where at present users can merely store online backups of their photos, documents, and videos. But which eventually will also hold digital extensions of our very minds. Kurzweil describes this as us directly expanding our brains with layers of virtual neurons in the cloud. And in this way, we will merge with AI and augment ourselves. I understand how some of you might find this hard to believe and it just seems too much like science fiction, but you can find article after article like this one right here. Human brains may directly connect to cloud networks in the future. This future window is not too far away because they are looking at the 2030s. As we can see right here, Ray Kurzweil, in the 2030s, nanobots in our brains will make us godlike. Where have I heard that lie before?
That video you just saw comes from Shep for the King on TikTok, and one of the goals when it comes to these people who are pushing AI is to merge us with AI to make us one with machine.
This is the Kailasa Temple in India. It was built between 756 and 773 AD. According to the fake history, the fake mainstream narrative, they built this out of this mountainside, this hillside, and this is one piece, one complex, chiseled, hand chiseled from the top down. Who honestly believes that? They expect us to believe that. Look at that. Look how perfectly symmetrical. This is symmetrical. Elephants on both sides. Look at that. Laser technology. This is lasers or some other abilities that they had back in the day that we don't have anymore, or that they hide. There's no way we did this with hammer and chisel. That's fabrication. That's fake history. I want y'all to look at how detailed this is. Look at the intricate cuts in the details. Do you honestly believe that all of this was hand chiseled from one piece, from one mountainside, one rock area? That's what the mainstream wants us to think. That all these details and cuts and divots and steps and all that, they didn't build anything from somewhere else and carry over and stack it. They went from the top down. Allegedly, it took them 17 years to do that. This is one piece. All these statues and different, monolith looking things and this whole cave system, all these pillars, all that stuff. Look at all those elephants. All that stuff is hand chiseled. No power tools. This looks like it was laser cut. Ancient people had technology. People in the past had technology. So guess how many pounds, how many tons of rock they had to move to complete this? Between 200,000 and 400,000 tons. So that's between 400 million and 800 million pounds of earth and stone they had to move. Look at that. Look at those cuts. Look at those cuts. This is a computerized laser system. The thing is, people are like, oh, well, they just had a lot of time back then. They had a lot of people, a lot of manpower to pull this off. Just because you have, 1,000 workers doesn't mean it's going to equal skill. Quantity does not equal skill. Quantity does not equal perfection. Everyone had to be a master level stonemason in order for this to look like this. You really think like that the foreman of the site is like micromanaging every single chisel? Oh wait, you need to go a half a centimeter into that rock. This would require masterful level stonemasonry that they did. There's no way they had that. This was a computerized laser system. So the point of this video is to get you to open your eyes and see that they're lying to you, and you cannot trust the mainstream. You cannot trust whatever the mainstream says. It's going to be cap. It's going to be. This is the Matrix, and they're going to feed you lies to keep you docile, controlled, and easy to manipulate. All right. So this was not built by hand. This was technology. This is something we need to all wake up to.
That video is from iGoby William on TikTok. Videos like this greatly fascinate me because it always shows we're being lied to. Of course we are. We're being lied to as we speak. We're being lied to in the present day. Of course they're going to lie about history. The ancient people were way more technologically savvy than what we're being told. Architecture back then was way more fascinating and way more sturdy than it is today, and even right down to the tiny details, and you really have to ask yourself, how did they create this stuff? But in any case, thank you so much for watching. If you like this channel and you want to see more, please subscribe. If you're already subscribed, please like, as any engagement does help the channel grow. Once again, thank you so much for your support.